Hello everybody and welcome to another one of our leadership training videos. In these leadership training videos, we've been looking at all the elements and components that you need to improve your leadership skills, understand how to be more effective as a leader, what the leadership styles are that are important, and perhaps more importantly, what are the qualities, traits and skills that you need. So it's about you looking at your leadership style and seeing what you can take away from these leadership training videos. I invite you, if you haven't already done so, to feel free to subscribe to this channel, but also like, share, comment, share your own insights into the different topics being discussed. Now today we're going to talk about a very big subject. In the previous training videos, I've looked at cultural diversity, and in a two-part series helped to break that down into what cultural diversity is all about in terms of leadership. Now, inevitably, the other element of cultural diversity, or indeed diversity, is inclusion, which is the topic we're going to talk about today, inclusion in leadership. My name is Igwe. I have over 35 years experience of leading, training and developing teams across 5 different markets in Europe, Middle East and Africa, where I have lived and worked. The subject of inclusion is so important and so big, but can be misinterpreted in many ways. So I'm going to give you, like anything, my version, my view. If you have a different one, please feel free to share in the comments and we can understand and develop our ideas together. So when we talk about inclusion, I think one of the first things to bear in mind is, as a leader, it's your responsibility, it's my responsibility to ensure that people are aware of the vision. Not just the vision, but the shared vision. In other words, what I want has to be the vision that I want for my team and the people who I lead as well. So it's about having clarity around the vision to make sure that everybody understands and they are able to embrace it for themselves. Because as has been mentioned in different leadership training videos, you are leading, developing and growing people to set them up for success. If you have that as a fundamental element, that their success is your success, then that automatically feeds into the inclusion element. In addition to setting them up for success, you are there to create avenues for individuals in the team, in the company, to actually contribute at all levels. So their own skills, their own knowledge, their own insight, to bring it all forward. That is also part of your role. And then fundamentally, it's to make space for others. And those others are maybe people you don't normally see, you don't normally connect with, you don't normally interact with, but it's to make space for others to be involved in the process and discussions. Now, there are many statistics and numbers out there, and I wouldn't invite you to dwell too much on this, but I think the principle from what I've seen and understood is that the assessment is that only 5% of leaders are actually inclusive in terms of the way research studies have been done. This is globally. So think about it for a minute. If only 5%, and it could be 10%, 15%, it doesn't matter. The point is there is a small number of people who actually understand and practice inclusion as leaders. So what an opportunity. What an opportunity for you and for me to increase that number that everybody feels, because the more you feel that you're creating something, the more people will feel included. So the ways in which you can improve as an inclusive leader, and we'll wrap it up at the end with some further ideas, is firstly, even if you say to yourself, well, I'm not one of that 5 or 10%, and I don't know how I'm going to get there. Well, the good news is inclusive leadership can be assessed, it can be coached, and it can be developed. So you're not going to be alone. This can actually be dealt with and developed, because all leaders, wherever you are in your leadership journey, need to develop. Because the key idea is really this. From an inclusion point of view, when you ask individuals in a team, in a group, one of their key needs is to have a sense of belonging. we all need to belong. We all need to be together. We all need to share. So to achieve that, you want to be able to unleash the potential of each individual. You also want to create an environment for all people to thrive. So not just one or two, not just your favorites, for all people to thrive. And to just take some of this and narrow it down a little bit, if you imagine you might be a leader who says, well, he or she dresses well, he or she talks and communicates well, he or she has a style that I like. You're then segregating in your own mind, based on your own values, people based on your likes and dislikes. And as a leader, we shouldn't do that. We should allow the playing field to be absolutely level for everybody, wherever they come from. And bear in mind, this is not even about minorities or discriminated against groups who will have an even bigger challenge in feeling that they belong. So the work is out there for all of us to create an environment where everybody can thrive. So what are some of the leadership behaviors that we need to have? Here are just a few. You need to be able to build relationships. And what that means is within the team, it is your responsibility as the leader to help others who may be on the fringes know that you can build the relationships and bring them in to make them feel a part of all that is going on. So you build a relationship with them and help them build relationships with others in the team or the department or the business. You need to recognize them as well. So recognition is important in terms of what they've done. So not just recognizing them because you can see them, you recognize them because they have done a piece of work that has been amazing, outstanding, or simply has contributed to the grand scheme of what you want to provide. So you need to recognize them, no matter how small. It could be verbal, it could be written, and it could be any other form in between. And it could be personal as well as it could be in the group. So you thank them personally, and then you can maybe thank them with the rest of the group. Developing empathy. We've talked in the past about empathy. In one of the leadership training videos, we talked especially about emotional intelligence and empathy and how you build that. So that's really important to help people feel that they belong, they are a part of the whole process. Create a social connection. And I've put in here human because it's about a human need. That need needs to be not about where people are from, what their culture, their background, their ethnicity, and so on. It's about them being recognized as human beings. And as a human being, they have a voice. So you connect that social element with them. You want to encourage their participation. And that's really important. Again, everybody has a voice and should be given a voice within your team, within your department, within your company. They should be able to bring that forward. And if you encourage participation, you'll be amazed, especially as we talked about and discussed under cultural diversity. That component of diversity brings out new thoughts, new ideas, things you never thought about or imagined, which could be the actual key moment, the key idea that helps the team to perform even better. So that's really important. And then you have to have an alignment. And by alignment here, I'm meaning that what you communicate to the team, they communicate to each other. In other words, you're setting up not only the way in which they should be working and operating, but then also there's an alignment with the strategy. Remember, we talked at the beginning about the shared vision and clarity. So the alignment comes together in the vision, which everybody is part of. So these are the leadership behaviors that you are responsible and charged to provide within the team. And then to wrap it up, you may say, well, okay, I don't have that leadership inclusion skill or knowledge or ability, so how do I go about it? As I said at the beginning, it can be taught, it can be assessed, it can be developed, and it can be coached. So I start out here with, here are a few of the things that you should consider, and I suggest that you consider them all, in fact. So on the one hand, getting appropriate coaching. It could be within the HR department, they provide you with that. If the HR department can't or doesn't do it, which is most unlikely, then you look at it yourself. But you need to find coaching. You need to find a mentor, somebody who you look up to and you appreciate because they have done it or they've achieved it in their own life, and encourage you then to become a more inclusive leader. Equally, become conscious of it. So being aware, because leadership is all about awareness. Being aware that you lack something in that area means that you can work towards discovering more. And then you assess yourself daily. So each time make a conscious effort. Did I see so-and-so in my team or department? He or she looks a little bit on the fringe. Let me make more of a conscious effort to connect him or her, bring her into the team, give her a task, recognize her abilities, different things that you assess based on your knowledge and acknowledgement that you are now conscious of what you are doing. And then the other one is finally peer assessment. So it could be that somebody else who you trust and respect within the organization, or it could be outside the organization. It doesn't have to be there. You can, based on asking them for support, maybe talk to them about a particular thing, subject, item, matter, and then they can give you feedback on how they see you performing. So inclusion is not just about ethnicity, diversity, culture, and all those things, which are very important. But as I said, I touched on it in a different leadership training video on cultural diversity. Here, inclusion is about bringing the entire team together with all their different components of where they're coming from, their knowledge, their skill, their background. But the important thing is to create an environment of trust, an environment of your voice is just as important as anybody else in this team and organization, and I want to hear it. So when you share that, you'll see yourself grow as well in terms of an inclusive leader, or a leader that understands about inclusion. So with that, I hope that I've left you some thoughts and ideas. Please feel free to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to catching up with you again very soon. Thank you.